Welcome to the FMI Lab Series. I'm Doug Baker with FMI, and I'm joined today by Adam Stave, founder and CEO of Swish. Swish recently won the FMI Tech Pitch Competition at Midwinter Executive Conference for their new technology. Swish is the first programmatic product sampling platform helping brands and retailers connect with shoppers in smarter, more measurable ways. Swish offers retailers and CPG companies an innovative approach to programmatic sampling, placing full-size products directly into online grocery orders based on data insights and transforming merchandising into measurable media. Thanks for being with us, Adam, and congratulations on winning the pitch competition.
Yeah, thank you so much, Doug. Super grateful and happy to be here and kick off this new series.
So, as a shopper, another get to know you question. FMI's research has shown that shoppers seeking value identify 4 purchase drivers, which I think would probably be pretty interesting for Swish, the company, as well. And these drivers, they encourage them to spend more on. They're willing to spend more for one of these 4 drivers. Those drivers are health and convenience and entertainment and enjoyment. Which one of those purchase drivers speaks to you personally, and why?
Yeah, I would absolutely go with convenience. Maybe not in the traditional sense. Like convenience today, in my mind, is all about reducing friction. So when I think about, right, especially what Swish does, like making discovery really easy, that is convenience, right? When a new product shows up in my order and I don't have to, risk buying something that my kids aren't going to like and I have to throw out. It makes it really easy for me to try a new product. That for me is powerful.
So we talked about convenience, and convenience is also something that somebody might have a positive experience from, right? So technology is underpinning so much of the consumer experience today. In your perspective, and maybe tying it back to Swish, how do you see technology improving the customer experience within grocery?
Yeah, it absolutely ties to my earlier point about convenience. And the way I view that, technology should just feel invisible to that customer. They shouldn't even know that it's there to just transform their experience, right? Nobody wants to think about why they were targeted for a certain ad or why they received a product. Most of the companies that I live around in our industry, the customer never even needs to know who those people are, who those companies are. So at a high level, right, grocery technology should do 3 things. It should reduce friction, it should increase relevancy, and create great moments of surprise. So we've digitized this transactional process really well at Swish. And as an industry, right, we don't touch things like search and payments and fulfillment necessarily in and out. But what we're really focused on is digitizing and driving a technology around discovery. So we believe there's enormous opportunity there, and it's only been continued to be validated.
I love that. Technology should be invisible to the customer. That's pretty cool. So, Adam, at our first ever Grocery Lab event, attendees are going to dive into 7 distinct labs, and one is focused on loyalty and personalization. This seems to fit within your wheelhouse. So tell me, how do experiential moments influence not just how shoppers choose where to shop today, but how they value the food retailer for the long term, creating that customer lifetime value?
Yeah, absolutely. That ties directly into what we do. So we always talk about what we do as being purpose driven, purpose built, not just for the retailer, right? We offer a lot of benefits for retailers and brands. But at the end of the day, it's that customer that should really have this great loyalty moment, an emotional connection to the fact that they got something relevant with their order. So price, proximity, things like that might get a consumer to go to a retailer, but it's these personalization and surprise moments that get them to come back and shop there and carry that loyalty card and say, that retailer really understands who I am, who my family is, what we buy, how often we buy it. When a retailer really helps a consumer discover something that they now love, in a way that feels thoughtful, tailored, the way that we do it, it builds trust. And trust drives lifetime value. So every retailer out there is looking for a way to get customers to shop more often at their store, higher frequency. Everyone's an omni kind of all over the place shopper. Certain people buy things at the club, people buy certain things at their local grocer. There's a handful of people who are still going out there, going to the bakery and the butcher. But how do we get more of those purchases to happen under one roof? Swishes definitely plays into that, building the loyalty. You get a relevant product with their order. It should build that level of trust from between the retailer and that consumer. The one that I'm really proud of, it was one of our first campaigns. We introduced a non-dairy oat milk dessert to a whole new audience of people buying online grocery. And something we learned really quickly is it's really hard to find people buying frozen desserts and ice creams online. There is definitely a stigma around, hey, it might not arrive frozen. But what we found is when we gave this frozen dessert to thousands of people, not only did they come back and buy this frozen dessert, but we tore down this idea that they can't buy frozen. We followed those people's orders for several months, and we saw that they were buying frozen appetizers, frozen vegetables, other things across the frozen category. And they were doing it at Stater Brothers, where we ran that program. So these are people who never shopped that category before. They were introduced to something new, and now they're creating bigger orders at that retailer. There's a trust element in both, literally knowing that I trust that my product will arrive here for free, or that it'll arrive frozen. But the bigger trust issue is really found in that, hey, that retailer gave me something that I really do love. Not only can I hope that it happens again in the future, but that there's a sense of loyalty to shopping at that store. It's been music to our ears hearing from brands all the different ways that they want to leverage programmatic sampling with Swish to achieve different goals that was not our intent when we launched, but it's great to hear that there's a lot of different use cases for what we offer.
So technology again is changing the way the industry goes to market, back end, front end, what's in front of the customer, what's just helping us run our business. And adopting new technology really is also about adopting change management. How do you coach companies through change based on bringing them the solution that you have? Is it something you've seen that's taken a lot of effort? Has it been relatively easily adopted because of the strategy? I think this is the year of change management in our industry because of the adoption of technology. So walk us through that a little bit as to how you land on that.
Yeah, it's absolutely different in every organization that we collaborate and partner with. The constant is that it really comes down to people, right? If you want different results, you really got to be willing to try something different. And not just at Swish and past lives running change management and even in consulting roles, it always starts at the top. When executive leaders genuinely believe in testing a new idea and say out loud, it gives the rest of that organization permission to move on it. At Swish, we spend a lot of time working with solution architects, e-commerce teams. They're the ones who know this business better than anyone. And we're not trying to really bulldoze change. We go in and we're sensitive about it. But we really have found that collaborating, listening, figuring out how to make what we do fit within what already works makes that change feel a lot more comfortable. It's all about making it feel manageable. We start small, prove it works, build a level of confidence, and change is scary. But back to the earlier piece, right? When leadership sets that tone and teams can feel supported, it actually becomes kind of an energizing driver. As long as that upside and what we've seen, that upside really makes all of it worth the effort. The piece that I would add to that, right, and knowing this now, coming off the stage with this FMI tech win, these organizations that are embracing Swish have to have a lot of confidence in what we're doing, right? And there are lots of startups out there, and many that are worth shining a spotlight on. I'm so grateful that FMI offers this stage and brings new ideas and innovation to the forefront. again, a lot of wind in our sails here at Swish since exiting that stage. But to that point, right, change and leadership getting behind it, there's got to be a great level of confidence there for the right ideas. Things have absolutely changed for us since exiting that stage, and grateful for the platform.
Thanks so much for being with us, Adam, and congratulations again on being crowned. I love that, crowned. I don't think we gave you a crown, but we got a really nice trophy out of this, right? Being crowned the 2026 winner of the FMI Tech Pitch Competition. You can learn more about Swish at swishbx.com. And if you want to dive more into innovation, be sure to join us at Grocery Lab in June. You can learn more at fmi.org/Grocery Lab. Adam, thank you for the time. Look forward to hearing more of your success as you move on. And let's stay in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.